I'm not this old now. Not 20. I was 20 a long time ago. Back then, I looked like this, pretty much, and I wore clothes like this, which I think I could get away with today, which is weird. So, this is me, circa 1983. There was still a Berlin Wall and we only had 4 TV channels. Britain had its first woman Prime Minister, and she said there was no such thing as society. Her version of life was just a lot of people smiling at each other, but secretly thinking, how can I get all of your stuff? My dad used to say, aren't you happy now? You've got a woman Prime Minister. And I'd shout at him, no Dad, I'm not happy because she's an evil cow. And my mum would look upset because she hated arguments. But I knew I wasn't going to turn out like my mum. She was always running around doing her job as a dental receptionist and cooking and cleaning and trying to stop me arguing with Dad. My dad was a policeman. I did feel for him sometimes. Once someone spat at him when he was out drinking with his mates, when they found out what he did. Still, why do we need the police? They didn't always exist, did they? Someone had to invent them, didn't they? You can imagine how well that went down at our house. Greenham Common. Ever heard of that? I was at college studying English, and I was pretty nervous at first because no one in my family had ever been to university. In Freshers' Week, I decided to go to everything, and I mean everything, from Tiddlywinks to the Viking Appreciation Society. And the very last one I went to was the women's meeting. That one stuck. We'd meet every week and discuss things like body hair, the patriarchy and the witches. We'd discuss, can you still be a good feminist if you shave your legs? Mind-bending stuff like that. And then one day, a woman came in to talk to us about Greenham. It was a camp of women surrounding a military base in Berkshire where American nuclear missiles were kept. Her name was Helen, and she had short pink hair and a kind of wildness about her. Do you know what happens to a human being in the blast radius of a nuclear missile? She asked us. We didn't, so she told us. That's when I decided to leave university and go to the camp. I couldn't think of anything more important in the world. Like Helen said, why should we women want to murder other women and their kids? I spoke to Helen after and I begged her to let me come. I wouldn't have bothered. Yes, she said, come. Bring Wellington boots, a sleeping bag, socks, a saucepan, plate, spoon, knife, cup. Bring change for the laundrette machines. Bring a camera if you have one. I didn't. Nobody had mobile phones or laptops then. They hadn't been invented. All we had was an idea. An idea that the world could be better. Have you ever seen pictures of the camp? Women would sew photos of their children and baby clothes onto the perimeter of the fence. We'd sing songs and light fires. The police would come and try to move us on, but we'd chain ourselves to the fence. Who would have thought a bunch of scruffy women could rattle the chains of big, powerful men in uniforms who ran countries? But we did. One time we broke into the base to the French and danced on the silos where the bombs were kept. Another time, women came from all over the country in coachloads, 50,000 of them, and we joined hands around the whole of the base, miles of it, and we sang, "We are women, we are strong." And hundreds of us were arrested, and women lawyers came to fight their cases. And my mum and dad would say to me, "When are you going back to university?" And I'd say, "What is university teaching me that life can't? Education in this country only reproduces the dominant ideology. But you're going to need to get a job. Dad said. And Mum said, I've sewn that hole in your sleeping bag. Come home, love. I breathed a sigh of relief after I left them. They didn't understand. One day, like any other, I was out with Helen. We were going into town to get supplies. Baked beans, matches, newspapers. Hurry up, she laughs at me and steps into the road. I didn't know when I knew it was going to happen, but I have the feeling that I did in the few seconds before. It was as if time slowed down. I saw the police car. I saw Helen fly into the air as it hit her, and I knew it couldn't be good. Helen lay by the side of the road, silent, her pink hair matted and bloody. I spoke her name, and she murmured a bit and went quiet. When the ambulance came, they said I was holding her hand, but I can't remember that. I hope they're right. In 1991, the government took the missiles out of the base. So, in a way, we won. And if you go there now, there's a monument to Helen. She was 22 years old. We could never prove it, but the police van seemed to swerve towards her deliberately. How dare you challenge us, it was saying. But Helen did dare. I went home after Helen's funeral. Mum and Dad were scared of me in a way. Scared I was so sad. And after a bit, I went back to uni and finished my degree. At my graduation, my dad said something to me. He said, well, you took your time getting there, but you got there in the end. I'm glad I didn't stand by and do nothing, Dad, I said. What would the world be like if nobody did what they thought was right? But it was trespassing, Dad said. Breaking the law, that's never good. And then my mum, who had cried the whole way through the ceremony, suddenly said, oh, shut up, Steve. I'm proud of you, Amy. And she touched a badge on her lapel. And I looked a bit closer, and she was wearing a women's peace badge. And I thought, bloody hell, if my mum can change, stand up to my dad, then anything's possible. Visit Helen's monument when you get the chance. Say hello from me.